Hello and welcome to the BP Gaming Network. We are playing Out of the Park Baseball 19, featuring our Oakland Athletics franchise. This is video number 3. During the last video, we sort of did our final touches in preparation for the start of the season. We set our strategies. We went through our overall minor league system. We talked about our upcoming free agents, and looked at our finances, and then set the team up to start the season. So on this video, we'll continue on for week 1 of the MLB season. We've already played 2 games, and we'll start off there. So game 1 was opening day on March 29th, and you can see here that Oakland won game 1 3-2 against LA, and in game number 2 we lost 9-6. So we'll quickly go over the games and see how the team performed, and then we'll move on to game number 3 for week 1 of opening week. So let's check out the schedule. You can see here, opening week basically had 3 games scheduled. The 29th, we won this game, and let's take a look at how that went. So the game was played in Oakland. It was the Angels playing against the Athletics in Oakland, and Oakland managed to squeak through a win against the Angels 3-2. It was a low-key affair, and the player who actually knocked in our winning run was Book Powell, my center fielder. So it was a good start for the team. Let's take a look at the pitchers and see how they performed. We'll start with LA. The starting pitcher for LA was Shohei Ohtani, the phenom from the Nippon Japanese League, who's making his MLB debut. He pitched okay, and I'd say okay, I mean, it was his first time pitching in a Major League Baseball game in regular season. He went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs, gave up 6 hits, pitched 88 pitches, and had a 3.60 ERA. So for his debut, it's really not that bad. I think he pitched really well, and I'm sure the team is hoping that he'll evolve and be able to go beyond just 5 innings. And he was relieved by Wood, who came in and pitched 1 inning, didn't give up a run, had 3 strikeouts. And then he was relieved by Alvarez, who came in, also pitched 1 inning, no runs, 13 pitches, and no strikeouts. And then came in Cam Bedrosian, pitched 1 inning, gave up 1 run, and that was the winning run for Oakland. He also gave up 2 walks and had a 9.0 ERA. So for Oakland, our starting pitcher was Sean Manaea, who came in and did a really good job. He pitched 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 of them earned. He also had 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, threw 95 pitches, and had a 2.57 ERA. So that was an excellent start for the season for Manaea. And he was relieved by Yasmero Petit, who came in and pitched 2 innings, no hits, no runs, no errors, threw 19 pitches, and had a 0 ERA. So you could summarize that as a excellent start for the season for Oakland. I wasn't planning on Yasmero going the 2 innings really. But he was pitching so well. We had our reliever warming up, and but I still let Yasmero continue to pitch, and he managed to to get the 2 innings without giving up a run. So, and that gave us a sure win. For the offensive position players for Oakland, there was a few players who had a good opening day. Anderson Simmons went 3 for 1 with a 3.33 ERA. Justin Upton also was 3 for 1. He also had an RBI, and also had a 3.33 batting average. Mike Trout went 4 for 2 with a 500 batting average to start the season, and their catcher Rivera was also 3 for 1. So as a team, they had a combined total 5 hits and 3 walks. For Oakland, let's see which players had a good start of the season for Oakland. Jet Lowry really struggled. He was 5 for 0. Didn't contribute that much. Matt Chapman also had an okay game. He went 3 for 1 and 3.33 ERA. Jonathan Lucroy was 4 for 1 with an RBI. So started the season with a 2.50 ERA. Matt Olson was 4 for 2 with a 500 batting average. Chris Davis was 3 for 1 and had a 3.33 ERA. And Piscotty and Powell. Piscotty was 2 for 1, so had a 500 batting average. And Powell was basically the guy who gave us that last run that gave us the win. So he was 2 for 1 as well with a 500 ERA. Marcus Semien committed the only error for the team. So all in all, the defense played well. The offense managed to fight it out and at least get a run. It was a low-scoring affair, but we won that game and couldn't have been happier. The next game was the following day, where Garrett Richards was facing our pitcher for Oakland, Kendall Graveman. Garrett Richards only had a 1/3 inning. Didn't give up any hits or runs, but he was injured and they had to take him out. He was relieved by Ramirez, who went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, 2 of them earned. He threw 64 pitches, had a 6.75 ERA. He was relieved by Jim Johnson, who went 2 innings, giving up 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 2 walks, and had a 9 ERA. The rest, the bullpen came through after that, and they basically kind of shut down the game. Didn't give up any more runs except for Wood, but it was not an earned run. So they managed to hold off for the rest of the game without giving up runs. For Oakland, though, unfortunately, we lost this game 9-6. Kendall Graveman went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 14 hits, 9 runs, 9 of them earned, 2 walks, threw 126 pitches, and had a 14.29 ERA. So not a good start for Kendall Graveman. We probably shouldn't have let him stay in the game that long, throwing 126 pitches. So that's something we'll have to continue to see. So we'll still give him a chance again for his next start and see how he recovers from this game. And then we'll continue to monitor him from there and see if we need to make any changes. The bullpen lived up to its hype, as I had mentioned earlier in the first video. I felt very confident about our bullpen going into this year. So Casilla came in to relieve Graveman. He went 2 1/3 innings, didn't give up any runs, and he was relieved by Pagan, who went 1 inning, no runs, no hits as a matter of fact, and had one strikeout. So bullpen was okay. Starting pitching was horrible, as Kendall Graveman really gave up a lot of runs, and as a result, we lost the game. Player of the game was Mike Trout, so we'll check out the position players who made valuable contributions to their teams. They had Shohei Ohtani back into the lineup. This time as a position player, he was batting as a DH, leadoff, and looks like he was 5 for 1 with 200 batting average. So that's their two-way player who can pitch and hit. So you're going to see a lot more of that. Justin Upton, who had a good game in the first game, also had a very good game in the second game. He was 5 for 4, batting .625, so outstanding. Valbuena had a good game, going 4 for 2. Trout had a very good game, going 4 for 4. Chris Calhoun was 5 for 2. And the other player who contributed there was Andrelton Simmons. He was 2 for 1. So their offense was really engaged. Looks like they came ready for game 2. As for Oakland, Jet Lowry, this time around he managed a couple hits. He went 5 for 2. Matt Chapman didn't contribute that much. He struck out 4 times in that game. Chris Davis was 3 for 2 with 500 batting average, and he had 2 walks as well. So very good night for Chris Davis. Matt Olson drove in a run, but didn't have any hits. Jonathan Lucroy didn't do well. Neither did Matt Joyce or Marcus Semien. Piscotty did okay. He was 4 for 2 with a 500 ERA. And Boog Powell, again, second game, and he performed really well. He was 3 for 2. He had a run. He had an RBI, 1 walk, and his batting average in game 2 was 600. So all in all, an okay game for our offense. They tried to battle by bringing the score, making the score close. As you can see, it was only a 3-run win. So it's encouraging. I'm just concerned about that starting pitching for Oakland. So that's sort of the recap so far. 2 games into the season. We don't have any injuries. There's nothing concerning so far. So we will advance to the next day, and we'll actually be able to play out our game number 3. We're still playing against the Angels. This is a 4-game series. So we're excited. We'll see how that plays out. Our starting pitcher for the next game is Daniel Mengden, and for LA it's Tyler Skaggs. So we hope to see you on our next video as we continue on with the season and play out game number 3. So this is game 3. This is the pre-game screen. We've shifted things around a little bit for game 3. Basically, our lineup we've made some movement. We've basically switched Matt Chapman from the number 2 spot and dropped him back down to the number 9 spot. We've also moved in Stephen Piscotty to that number 2 spot from the number 9 spot. We also dropped Herschel Powell from the number 1 spot, moved him to the number 6th position, took Jet Lowry from previously the number 9 spot as it was scheduled for this game to the number 2 spot. Those changes, I made them because we're facing a lefty, and I need to have a few right-handed batters at the top of the lineup. Jet being a switch hitter, and having a decent on-base percentage typically against lefties and righties. I put him to be leadoff. And Piscotty, being a righty, I put him in number 2. And then Chris Davis and Matt Olson, just where they were before. So is Jonathan Lucroy. And at number 6, we put Herschel Powell. So this is the pre-game screen. We're going to check out the team stats. Again, it's only 2 games into the season. There's not a lot of info to really derive from the stats. So, but it's a visual that you can take a look and just get a feel of, you know, how the team is doing before you start a game. The team leaders tab, it again won't be as meaningful just because there's only 3 games into the new season, but you can see after those 2 games, these are the leaders in MLB. So it looks like just 2 teams exist, and that's because there's really not a lot of data yet, and most of it is just from a few teams that so far have got a couple games under their belt. We'll move in to quickly take a look at the Oakland lineup and starting pitcher tab. This is where you can make last minute changes to your lineup, your starting pitcher, and everything else. So we're good. I think we've made all the changes that we needed to make, and so we'll move in and start the game. And again, this is still being played out in Oakland. It looks like it's a day game. You can see the time here. It's 1:05 p.m. So it's a afternoon game, and we're at the Coliseum. And pitching for us again, it's Daniel Mengden going against the Los Angeles Angels Skags. And up to bat is Shohei Ohtani as the leadoff for LA. So let's go. All right, so Ohtani grounds out to the pitcher, and they force him out at first. Next up is Justin Upton. Nobody on for LA.
Strike 3, you're out.
And there goes Upton. He strikes out looking. So 2 down for LA. Up next is Luis Valbuena. Alright, so we already have some action into this game. Looks like Valbuena came in and hit a home run. A solo shot down to right field into the stands. So that's 1-0 LA. Next up is Mike Trout with 2 outs. And Trout gets himself a walk. Looks like Calhoun comes up and he grounds out to the second baseman, and he is out. So sorry, that was the shortstop actually who fielded that. So it's a 6-5 ground out, and that ends the inning. So down to the bottom of the first, batting for Oakland, number at the first spot, Jet Lowry. So Lowry's gonna get a fly out. Oh, that's a double to center field. So Jet Lowry has an excellent start to the game. He starts off with a double on a 1-2 pitch. So up next will be Steven Piscotty with a run on second and no outs for Oakland. So a fly ball, fly out to right field for Piscotty, and he's set down. Coming up next, Chris Davis, batting for Oakland with a run out second with 1 out.
Strike 3, you're out.
Looks like Davis will strike out looking. And so up next is Matt Olson. He has 2 outs now with a run on second for Oakland. And Matt Olson flies out to center field. That retires the side and ends the inning. We'll move on to inning number 2. Up to bat for LA is Kozak. He flies out to center field. Next at bat, Ian Kinsler with 1 out. Kinsler grounds out to the shortstop and he is set down. Batting next is Andrelton Simmons, and he has 2 outs, nobody on for LA. It looks like he grounds out to the third baseman, and that retires the side, and the inning is over. We shall move on to the bottom of the second inning. Batting next for Oakland is Jonathan Lucroy, the catcher.
Strike 3, you're out.
Lucroy strikes out, caught looking. And batting next is Boog Powell with 1 out.
Strike 3, you're out.
It looks like Powell also strikes out, so that's back-to-back strikeouts for Skaggs. Batting next is Marcus Semien, 2 outs, nobody on for Oakland. Looks like Semien will get himself a hit single to right field, and he's on base for Oakland. That's the second hit for Oakland, first for Marcus for this game. And batting next is Matt Joyce, the DH, number 8. So Matt Joyce flies out to center field, retires the side, and the inning is over. We move on to the third inning, and leading off for LA is Martin Maldonado. And he gets hit by a pitch, so we have a run on first for LA. And we're back to the top of the lineup for LA. Batting now is Shohei Ohtani with the run on first and nobody out. And Ohtani grounds out to the third baseman, and we have a 5-4-3 double play. Batting next, Justin Upton, batting for LA with 2 outs, nobody on. Upton lifts a lazy fly to right field, and it is caught. That retires the side, and the inning is over. And so we'll move on to the bottom of the third inning. Up next for Oakland is Matt Chapman. And looks like he had grounded out to third. The third baseman threw a high ball, and that was an error. So we have an E5. That allows Matt Chapman to get onto second base. So the third baseman Kozak overthrew it and created an error. This is a good spot for Oakland. So we've got our leadoff batter, Jed Lowry, up to bat. He's got a run on second, nobody out. And Lowry looks like he flies out to left field, and but that allows the second baseman, the run on second, to advance to third. So we've got Matt Chapman on third, and Stephen Piscotty is next to bat. One out, run on third for Oakland. So Piscotty gets an RBI. He grounds out to shortstop, but he gets the RBI. So we are now tied at 1-1, 2 out for Oakland, and the next batter is Chris David. Hits a line drive, fly out to left field, which retires the side. And the inning is now over. We move on to the top of our fourth inning. This game is moving along. And now we have Valbuena next for LA. Hits a ground ball to second base, and he is forced out at first. Next to bat is Mike Trout. This is his second at bat. Hasn't had any hits so far. And he gets himself a walk. So Trout is on at first, and Calhoun is next up with 1 out and run on first. Calhoun hits it straight up to the second baseman, who forces a double play, retiring the side and ending the inning. So we're going to advance to the bottom of the fourth. Next for Oakland is Matt Olson. He's a lefty facing Tyler Skaggs, who's a lefty. Olson is 1 for 0 so far. He's on with nobody out for Oakland. And that's a ground out to the first baseman, Mike Trout, who forces Olson out at first. Next to bat, Jonathan Lucroy, catcher for Oakland. It's 0 for 1. He also grounds out to Mike Trout, first baseman, and forced out at first. And next for Oakland is Powell. He's got 2 outs, nobody on for Oakland. And he strikes out. They caught him swinging. That retires the side, and we are on to the 5th inning. Zach Cozart up next to bat for LA as the leadoff with nobody out, nobody on. Cozart gets himself a single, line drive to left field. He's on to first. Up next is Ian Kinsler. He has a run on first, no outs for LA. Mangdan trying to hold the runners. He goes 2 for 0. Now it's 2-1. And Calhoun gets a hit to left field, and that's a double for Calhoun, advancing the runner from second. Now we've got a run on on second and third. And next up to bat is Andrelton Simmons. with a very good opportunity for LA. So Mengdan is got himself a tough situation here with nobody out, runners on second and third, and batting is Simmons. He swings, pop fly out to center field, and looks like Hoza tags and scores. And now we've got the center fielder, Hashel Powell, Boog Powell. He's got some problems with his elbow, and we may have to get him out of the game. So we're making a position change here due to injury. Let's see who we can bring in. So let's keep in mind the starting pitcher is a lefty. We have two right-handed batters to consider. Jake Smolinski would be my best option, just because if you look at his ratings at center field, I think he has better ratings at center than Chad Pinder. And yes, so I need a decent play in center field, so we'll have Jake Smolinski come in to take over for Boog Powell. Maldonado next to bat, run on second. Maldonado gets a hit, and that's going to be a double. That's going to score Kinsler. Now LA is up 3-1. We still have just one out for LA. Shohei Ohtani is next to bat. Maldonado at second. He hits a tapper to the pitcher, and they get a force out at first base. So Ohtani is set down. We'll still have a runner on second with Justin Upton next to bat. 2 out for LA. And Upton doesn't get to do much here as he grounds out to the shortstop, and that retires the inning. So we're gonna retire the side, moves the inning over to bottom of the 5th. Batting for Oakland, Marcus Semien. Lead off with nobody out, nobody on.
Strike 3.
Marcus strikes out looking. Next up, Matt Joyce for Oakland with 1 out, nobody on. So Matt Joyce flies out to right field, bringing up Matt Chapman for Oakland with 2 outs, nobody on. Chapman flies out to center field. That retires his side, ends the inning, and we move on to inning number 6. Batting for LA, Luis Valbuena. He's the leadoff at the start of the 6th inning. Nobody on, nobody out. So Valbuena gets a fly out to center field, and he's retired. We have 1 out for LA. Batting next is Mike Trout. LA still leads 3-1. And Trout gets his second walk. Doesn't have any hits so far. So now we've got Mike Trout on first. Calhoun is up to bat. 1 out. Calhoun hits a line drive to right center. It is caught by Smolinski, and that keeps Trout still at first. So now we've got 2 outs for LA, run on first, and the batter is Zach Kozak. So Trout was already running on contact. That allows him to score from first on the double by Kozak. That increases the lead for LA 4-1. And batting next is Ian Kingsler. We still have 2 outs. Zach Kozak is on second, and Mengden has given up 4 runs so far. We could see his pitch count is getting up there, so it is time to start considering bringing in a relief. Okay, we'll see if we can get through this one out. It's a gamble, but let's see if he can get this out, and then he's done for the game. So he wasn't able to. That was a miscalculation on my part. Now we're gonna have to warm up somebody in the bullpen, and I'm thinking it will be Chris Harcher. Again, I just need a righty because we have majority right-handed batters in the LA lineup. So Chris Hatcher will come in and start warming up. And Simmons was up to bat. Mengden throws a wild pitch. That advances the runners. So now we have runners on second and third. Simmons to bat with still 2 outs. So not a. And Mengden walks in, gives up a walk to Simmons. Sorry. So now we have bases loaded for Maldonado. Considering the pitch count, I'm gonna have to bring in Hatcher. I know he's not fully warmed up, but I'll have to take my chances here. I think Mengden is done. So we have a new pitcher for Oakland, Chris Hatcher, in to relieve Daniel Mengden. Let's see how he does. He's facing Maldonado, and he does the job. So we escape without much injury there. Hatcher comes in and strikes out Maldonado. And that ends the top of the 6th inning. Now we are down to the second half of the 6th. Batting for Oakland is Jed Lowry. He's got 1 hit so far, so he's gone 2 for 1. Grounds out to the shortstop, and he is forced out at first. Steven Piscotty is up next, facing Tyler Skaggs, who so far has gone 5 1/3 innings, hasn't given up an earned run. He's given up 2 hits, so he's pitching well for LA. We've got 1 out, nobody on for Oakland. All right, Skaggs gives up a walk to Piscotty, and batting next is Chris Davis. So he's got a run on first, 1 out. Let's see how he does. And they strike out Chris Davis. So now we've got 2 outs, run on first, and the batter is Matt Olson. We're down by 3 runs at the bottom of the 6th. We're gonna have to try and get a bit more aggressive here. I've got Piscotty, who's really not known for his speed. You know, he can steal So I'm thinking if we can try to force him to steal a base here. And he does. So that worked out. We had Piscotty take off on contact. And Matt Olson came through with the line drive to right field, a single, but that moved Piscotty to third. So up next is Jonathan Lucroy, who can make good contact. He's got 2 outs though, run on first and third for Oakland. Let's see how he does. So Lucroy is forced out at first from a ground ball to the second baseman, and that ends the 6th inning. We will advance to the 7th inning. Top of the lineup for LA. Up next is Shohei Ohtani, lead off with nobody on, nobody out.
Strike 3.
And Hatcher records a strike against Ohtani. Batting next for LA, Justin Upton. Upton flies out to center field. He is retired. And we have 2 out for LA. Batting next is Luis Valbuena with 2 outs, nobody on. Valbuena hits a ground up to the second baseman, Jet Lowry, and he is forced out at first. Alright, 7th inning stretch, and now we move on to the bottom of the 7th inning. We've got our leadoff, Jake Smolinski, batting for Oakland with nobody on, nobody out. And he will hit a ground ball to the first baseman, and he's forced out at first. Next is Marcus Semien, batting for Oakland with 1 out, nobody on. And Marcus hits a ground ball to the shortstop, and Marcus is forced out at first. Next up is Matt Joyce. He comes in with 2 outs for Oakland and nobody on. So he hits a little looper to center field, forcing Trout to make a diving catch. And that forces Matt Joyce out, retiring the side and ending the inning. So off we go to the 8th inning. I've got Hatcher still pitching, but I am going to warm up another pitcher, probably Liam Hendricks. He's a righty who can try to ensure that we don't give up any more runs, to give us an opportunity to see if we can try to come back for the next couple innings. So up next for LA, Mike Trout, still facing Chris Hatcher, lead off with nobody on, nobody out. And infield fly rule as Trout hits a pop-up. Up next for LA, Cole Calhoun, still facing Chris Hatcher with 1 out for LA, nobody on. Showing off the defense there, center fielder Jake Smolinski with a diving catch, forcing a fly out for Calhoun. That looked like a hit from here. So up next for LA, Zach Kozat with 2 outs, nobody on for LA.
Strike 3, you're out.
And that's it. They set Kozat down with a swinging strikeout. So that retires the side, and the inning moves on to the bottom of the 8th. So I'm going to have to sit down Hendricks just so he doesn't get tired warming up. And it looks like we have a pitching change from LA. Cam Bedrosian. He's currently got a 9 ERA. He's a right-handed pitcher. Got decent velocity that can get up to 95 miles per hour. And he's going to face off with Matt Chapman, who is batting 9th for Oakland. Righty versus righty. Let's see how Chapman does here.
Strike 3, you're out.
Doesn't do much. Chapman is shut down, strikes out, swinging. So that's 1 out for Oakland. Jet Lowry comes up to bat. He's got 1 out, nobody on. Lowry strikes out. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Bedrosian. And that brings up Stephen Piscotty, batting for Oakland with 2 outs, nobody on.
Strike 3, you're out.
And Bedrosian strikes out the side after striking out Piscotty. That retires the side, and the inning is over. So we're going to move on to the top of the 9th inning. We'll try to warm up Liam Hendricks again. Just keep him there in case Hatcher starts to struggle.
Strike 3, you're out.
Kensler comes in and he strikes out looking. So 1 out for LA. Andrelton Simmons comes in to bat with 1 out, nobody on. Simmons hits a fly out to left field, caught by the left fielder, Chris Davis, and now we have Martin Maldonado batting for LA. I will sit down Liam Hendricks for now because I think Hatcher has got this one, but it looks like he's tired. But maybe he can get this last out, and he does. So awesome job. Just want to save my pitchers as much as I can. I don't want to use up, my entire bullpen. So now this is where we have to really strategize, try to bring in any pinch hitters that we think might give us a good matchup. We have a new pitcher for LA, Blake Parker. He's here to pitch. He's a closer. They're expecting him to save this this game for them. So Chris Davis batting for Oakland. Lead off. Nobody on, nobody out. Davis comes through with a single that is bobbled up, and looks like that's going to be a double for Chris Davis. So Justin Upton couldn't come up with it. That gives us an opportunity to get Davis to second base, and this is looking like something. So we've got Matt Olson, lefty, versus the right-handed pitcher Blake Parker. Oakland has a run on second with nobody out.
Strike 3, you're out.
And Matt Olson strikes out. That was a good matchup there. So good on Blake to strike him out. Jonathan Lucroy. Let's see. He's been okay today. But I feel like I'd be better off if I bring in a right-handed pitcher. I've got Bruce Maxwell, who's a left-handed batter. My bad. And we do have Bruce Maxwell, who is a lefty, to face off against the righty Blake Parker. So now we've got 1 out and a runner on second. Let's see.
Strike 3.
All right, doesn't pan out. Maxwell strikes out. We are down to our last at bat. We've got Jake Smolinski. Let's see if we can keep this inning going. Smolinski strikes out, and that ends the game as Blake Parker strikes out the side. So that's the ball game. LA wins this one 4-1. Los Angeles pitcher Tyler Skaggs did his part in helping his team beat LA. The lefty kept opposing batters in check throughout the game. Earning his second save of the year was Blake Parker. LA is now 2-1, has played well in this early going. Martin Maldonado aided the Los Angeles cause with a run-scoring double in the top of the fifth. For the game, catcher was 1 for 3 with a double and was hit by a pitch. So it was a solid team effort, and we'll try to keep this momentum going. That's what Skaggs says to reporters. So we'll start off by looking at the pitching. LA pitched really well. Tyler Skaggs went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs. I mean, there was a run scored, but no earned runs. Sorry, he threw only 89 pitches. That is very efficient, and no earned runs whatsoever. That's awesome. Bedrosian relieved him, and he pitched 1 inning, didn't give up a run or hit. Parker came in for the save, gave up 1 hit, and no earned runs with 3 strikeouts. So for LA, they should most likely expect to see good performances from those guys. For Oakland, our pitching didn't do that well. Daniel Mengden went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, 4 of them earned. He threw 107 pitches for an ERA of 6.35. Hatcher went for 3 1/3, pitched well, didn't give up a hit or run, had 5 strikeouts, and no earned runs. We picked up an injury with Boog Powell, so we'll monitor that and see what that means for the lineup. As far as the position players for LA, Ohtani didn't really contribute that much. Most of the effort came from 2 hits from Kozat, and Maldonado had a key hit that drove in one of their runs. For Oakland, the team had a total of 4 hits coming from Chris Davis, Matt Olson, and Jed Lowry and Marcus Semien. Jed Lowry just went for 4 for 1 with a 2.14 batting average. Piscotty did not have any hits. Chris Davis was 4 for 1. Matt Olson 4 for 1. And Marcus Semien 3 for 1. The rest didn't really do much to really help the offense. So that's basically how that went, and that's game 3 for us. So we've lost 2 games. We won our first game, which was opening day, but we've gone on to lose 2 back-to-back games for opening week. So we'll see if there are any changes to be made for the team, or what we need to do to make sure that this doesn't become a trend. So let's go in and just take a look at our lineup. So it's still early in the season. We've got possible injury to Boog Powell at center field. Let me look at my depth. So I've got a couple other players who can play that position. We've got Chad Pinder, Jake Smolinski, who can be backups if we need to put Powell on the DL. So we'll wait and see. Once we advance into the next day or so, we'll be able to get more information about his injury. Next up is game number 4 for this series. The starting pitchers for LA will be Matt Shoemaker, and for Oakland will be Andrew Triggs. So it'll be an interesting game. We'll wait to see how that plays out, and then we'll continue to see if there's any significant changes that we need to start thinking about, or if we just need to give these guys more opportunities to see if they can perform better. So that's basically it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you guys on the next video. Thank you.